What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here today to talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 12, Episode 6, High Cries and Misty Demeanors. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get right into it. But before we talk about the actual episode, let me get on Diana's ass a little bit because some things have been happening off the screen that we should all be aware of. So it all started with this one Twitter user, O Chadwick. He's pretty popular on Real Housewives Twitter. He uploaded basically like a meme, like a tweet, where he was basically like, oh, I can't believe that these are the same person. And it was in relation to Diana Jenkins. Because in one of her confessional looks, so Diana, she has a very like rounded fit, like a very round full face. It's very kind of youthful, kind of cherubic, you know what I mean? Like that kind of, those kind of features. And that was really emphasized in one of her new confessional looks. It'll probably be a thumbnail for this video. But then he contrasted that with a picture from her from, I believe it was from like 2014. And it was her looking rather like a bit gaunter in her face. And it was essentially like before she had like fillers, essentially, like one would presume. And so he basically was like, oh, I can't believe these are the same person. Like, my mind can't comprehend this. Whatever. Like, that was his tweet. And it started circulating pretty widely. And various people began re-uploading this tweet on both Twitter and Instagram, naturally, as what happens with Housewives news in general. And then there's this one user, a Black content creator. She re-uploaded it. And mind you, she's a very small channel. She isn't like she isn't like Real Housewives Tea. She isn't like a large channel by any means. She like re-uploaded it, included hashtags and all that shit. And Diana Jenkins proceeded to go into her comment section, and she basically was like, she said that, oh, the first picture is from an event I was doing about war crimes in Bosnia and blah, blah, blah. Basically talking about why she looked different. And then the content creator was like, oh, like, basically saying, oh, well, keep that same energy for all the other accounts, all the other larger accounts that also re-uploaded this meme that I did not make, you know? And she also said, like, keep that same energy and don't just come for Black content creators. And then Diana Jenkins, in turn, replied again. And she was like, oh, it must not be easy being a Black content creator, or it must be difficult, or it must not be good. Something along those lines. About like, oh, it must not be good to be a Black content creator. It must not feel good. Something like that. And so that it got widely circulated. Everyone was like, what the fuck did Diana mean? And then people clocked on Twitter. They're like, she better not pull that fucking ESL. Like, oh, I didn't know. Because Diana's been in England since I believe since like 99. Is that what they said? Someone said a year that Diana has been in the UK since. And I believe it was, I don't remember, but she's been around, and humorously, this whole thing comes after Diana was clocking Sutton for being, oh, she's clumsy with her words. She's so clumsy with her words. And now Diana's commenting, oh, it must not feel good to be a Black content creator. And it's like, what the fuck? And then the next day, Diana posted some bullshit, like, I'm not even gonna say apology. It was some, like, she basically said, oh yeah, Crystal Minkoff, you know, called me demanding to know what I meant by this. And Diana said that by Black content creator, she understood that because the account used the term Black content creator first, obviously saying, hey, I'm a small account and I'm Black, so keep this energy for the larger accounts that are run by like white people, essentially. And Diana said, oh, I interpreted that to mean, oh, like a malicious content creator, like kind of like what I presume what she meant is like, you know how like black magic is like, oh, it's like evil magic, it's nefarious, you know, like that kind of thing. So Diana's like, oh, I thought she meant Black content creator, like an evil, nefarious content creator. And it's like, girl, did you really think that? Like, that, did you really, like, was that what the first thing that your mind went to? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. That seems like a stretch. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, like, there is a potential explanation behind it with the black magic bring example. But it's like, girl, that's a bit of a stretch. You know what I mean? Like, is that really where your mind first went? You know? I don't know. Especially when, like, in the account's profile picture, it literally shows, like, a black woman. So it's not even like it was some ambiguous, you know, like, profile picture. Like, you know what she meant. I don't know. I'm not buying that. And other people are bringing up how, like, and Diana also mentioned in her post that, like, please understand English isn't my first language, and these kind of things kind of get misconstrued. And it's like, well, I will acknowledge that there's oftentimes things do get lost in translation and, you know, certain sayings, idioms, things like that. But I feel like black magic is more of, like, a metaphor than, like, black person. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a metaphor. Like, I don't understand what Diana means by, like, oh, I didn't understand. It's like, I feel like I find it hard to believe that her mind would first go to, like, oh, black content creator means an evil content creator rather than, like, oh, a content creator who is black. Like, so yeah, Diana looks really bad right now. And it's also kind of brought renewed fervor to all the allegations against Diana Jenkins. So, if you don't know, everyone, if you're in the Housewives news, you probably know, but Diana was allegedly working as a madame for, He Who Shall Not Be Named, the Voldemort of YouTube, basically. Diana was allegedly working for him, recruiting people, and really yucky. We'll get more into it as the episode, because it does come up in the episode briefly. But yeah, so those allegations were out there. I didn't really want to talk about them because there are tons of other high-profile people who have been tied to that whole thing. And so it's like, I'm not going to focus my energies on her when there are tons of top politicians. I'm not getting into it, but but yeah, so it's that got brought up, and so Diana's pretty much in through the ringer. And again, as I've been reiterating for the past couple episodes, it's like, what is Diana bringing? Yeah, she's immensely wealthy. She has tons of wealth, but it's like, girl, everyone on this show is fucking rich. Everyone on the show is rich to varying degrees. But it's like, yeah, Diana Jenkins may be much, much wealthier. But at a certain point, it's like, man, all these bitches are rich. Who gives a fuck if one is, you know what I mean? It's like, girl, you're gonna have to bring a bit more than just wealth, you know? And I can see an argument for, like, she does bring conflict for how she is with Sutton and stuff like that, but kind of similar to how I feel about Sonya and Hostess of Atlanta. I feel like Sonya is basically just trying to align herself with, like, the more solid girls on the cast, basically, by going against Drew. I feel like Diana's basically doing that exact same thing, but against Sutton, you know? Sutton is almost like the Drew of Beverly Hills in a way, in terms of, like, the dynamic with the newbie. But yeah, I feel like at least Sonya's bringing something. I may be annoyed with Sonya, but I will acknowledge that, like, she should have a second seat, at least now, you know? I feel like she's bringing something. I may be annoyed with it, but it's like, you know, you have to kind of hate watch a little bit. You know what I mean? It's not even hate watching, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's okay to have, like, an enemy on the show. Like, they can still make good TV. Giselle. But yeah, and so I'm just kind of, I don't really feel the same way about Diana. I feel like a lot of people are calling for her to be booted. I hope this gets brought up at the reunion, because the reunion has not been taped yet. So I hope they put Diana, they bring this up against her. But I don't know, how do you feel about Diana so far? Like, let's talk about Diana for a bit, you know? Do you want to keep her, do you feel like she should stay on the show for, like, a second season? Obviously, it's still early, but we're just talking, you know? We're not making any decisions. We're just talking, speculating. Do you think she should have a second season on the show? Do you kind of buy her explanation for her comment against the black content creator? What are your thoughts on the whole situation? What do you think about Diana in general? Go ahead and let me know in the comments. So, again, I just want to talk about Diana real quickly, get on her ass a little bit. Now let's get right into the episode. The episode, as usual, starts with a little montage. The most notable thing is that we see Sutton and Garcelle, respectively, like, getting ready with their own little glam squads. They brought their glam teams with them. And then we segue to Erika, who, as we know, is, like, dirt broke at this point. And she talks about how she won't downsize on her glam. She's downsized every other aspect of her life, but she will not downsize her glam team, which includes her creative director. And I'm like, why the fuck do you have a creative director? You know what? It's like, why do you still have a creative director? I feel like it's more of an ego thing. I feel like it's like, because if you let go of your ego, if you let go of your creative director, if you let go of your glam squad, what do I have at that? So I think it's totally an ego thing for sure. Erika, she has certain things to downsize on. Glam to her is living art. And she's this dumb bitch. She brings up, oh, you don't judge people who have big families. Don't judge me for wanting to have nice clothes. And it's like, girl, we all fucking judge the Duggars and all these fucking fundamentalist people who have all these damn kids. Like, girl, we all talk shit about them. Shut up. But whatever. And furthermore, Crystal really puts it into perspective. Because obviously I'm like, oh, glam. Like, you have the glam squad there. You have to pay them, blah, blah, blah. But Crystal really put it in perspective. Because she's like, no, you have to pay them. Like, pay them their salary or whatever. You have to pay for their flights. Pay for their meals. Pay for their, like, sleeping accommodations. Pay for them to basically go. It's like a work trip, basically. So they keep their receipts, like that kind of thing. Now, obviously, none of the glam squad people fly first class or anything. They all probably fly coach. But it's still pretty pricey. And Crystal really put that in perspective because, like, I had never thought about it like that. Like, in the full range of, like, what it means to have the glam squad with you. But yeah, so that was pretty interesting. Once all the girls are ready, they go out to have breakfast on the beach. Crystal and Sutton are the first ones to arrive. And surprisingly, they're like chit-chatting, hanging out. They're making small talk. And it's all good because, mind you, the night before is when they have their incident. This entire episode takes place over one day, the day after. But yeah, Sutton and Crystal are basically good. Buried the hatchet, it seems. And then once all the women get there, there's some banter going on. Dorit talks about how she's still struggling with sleep and she's having like anxiety over everything still, but that's very understandable. And Diana, the woman of the hour, she kind of goes on the vegetarian thing. I believe Sutton asks Garcelle if she wants some bacon, and then Diana's like, oh, are you a vegetarian though? And then Sutton's like, oh, it's a fact. There are tons of vegetarians who secretly eat bacon. And then it's like, even in my English, you're not a vegetarian. Like, she's kind of going on it, but Sutton really doesn't give a fuck. Sutton woke up like water. She's letting everything just roll out. She doesn't give a fuck. She's like, I believe one of the people, I think it was Rinna, she's like, oh, Sutton, you're crazy. And Sutton's like, thank the Lord that I'm crazy. Like, so Sutton doesn't give a fuck. And I really appreciate it, to be honest with you. Then Erika, she eventually kind of dishes on being on Lexipro. I've never been on any Lexipro or anything like that, but Erika I guess a lot of people are saying like, oh, I'm surprised that Erika still like has a libido on Lexipro, because I guess Erika talks about how she's like horny and she's having sex and stuff like that, and people are like, oh my goodness, I was not doing that on Lexipro. So I guess it affects your like libido and your sex drive and stuff like that. At least generally, from what I hear as a non-Lexipro user. And she also, when she's done with that, she talks about like how she wears the term bully as a badge of honor, because from last season to this one, well, Erika's always kind of been a bit of like an ice queen. I wouldn't say she was like a bully before, but she was definitely like a hard ass bitch, and not like in a good way per se. And like, you know what I mean? She was just like icy. But now since last season, they're like, oh, this bully, this like bad person. And Erika's basically talking about how she's going to fight for herself. And if that makes her a bully, then so be it. And the thing is, I really don't disagree with that statement, with that sentiment. But it's like, Erika, like in your situation, like in your context, like it would have been more to your benefit to like be more sympathetic, just because in terms of the legal situation. But in terms of the grander like sentiment of that statement without regards to Erika, I guess, I totally agree with that. It's like when you're backed into a corner and when you fight back for yourself, everyone's going to suddenly be like, oh, you're such a bully, you go so low, you're so mean. But it's like, you put me in that situation and I chose to handle, and I did, and now you're the bad guy. So I agree with that. I just don't think that was Erika's situation. You know, it's like, girl, go off, I guess, but, you know, sit down. For some reason, Sutton and her homie wanting to take the LSAT, which is a test that you take if you want to get into law school, that comes up, and Erika reveals that Tom used to grade the bar, and she can help tutor Sutton and everything, and everyone's like, girl, did you just say that Tom used to grade the bar? Like, that cannot be good. And it's like, girl, do not get these lawyers as LSATs fucking reviewed. Like,
I'll tell you something. Yep. Tom made a perfect score on one of the pieces of the bar and used to grade the bar.
Tom Girardi grading the bar. That can't be good. That can't be good.
I will help you tutor. Okay?
But that was a little quick scene. In that quick scene, Rinna, she brings up how when her mom was dying, she had a medium there, and the medium basically shared with Lisa that, like, her mom will appear to her and like, through birds, essentially. And Lisa also talks about how she's been seeing a lot of birds lately and things like that. And it's really comforting to her, and I really do believe in that, like, sense of comfort. When my great-grandpa died, I don't think I ever said it, but, like, every time we see, like, feathers and stuff around the house, like, outside, we're like, oh, it's him, it's Beep Out, we used to call him. But, so we used to always say that about him. And when my stepmom's a close friend passed away, when she was still alive, she said that she would come back as a hummingbird in her, after she passed. And there's one day in our backyard where, like, a hummingbird nest came about on, basically, like, on top of our light fixture. Like, we had a light fixture, and it was, like, on top of it, this little tiny hummingbird nest. And it was like, oh my gosh, like, she's got chills. So I really do like stuff like that. Like, I feel like I'm growing more spiritual as I get older, you know? But yeah, as I get older, I just turned 25. But as I get older, I'm getting more spiritual, I feel. So I vibe with Lisa Rinna talking about that. And another funny scene. Sutton and Garcelle, they're, like, getting ready to go into the water, and Sutton has to have Garcelle help her, like, undress. And Garcelle calls her, like, a little toddler. It was just so funny and just so accurate.
Might need some help.
Come here, little toddler. Let me undress you.
Oh my God, she's so skinny.
Diana also gets in the water, and she begins to say that she believes that traveling is the greatest luxury one can have. And while they're all in the water, Lisa, Crystal, and Erika, they practice, like, surfing. They have a little surfing lesson, and they all touch on, like, the little California stereotype of, like, oh yeah, surfer dude. I remember when I was living in Vermont, I got asked that once, like, oh, have you surfed? I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm a total, like, ho dad. I'm just on the beach, probably high, just, like, tripping out over the water. Because as I go into the beach, just getting the feel of, like, the scent of the water and everything. And to be honest with you, I, like, trip out over just, like, the ocean. Like, I was, like, standing there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, across this expanse is, like, Australia and Japan and, like, it trips me the fuck out. The ocean is beautiful but so scary. So, like, I don't know, just a little segue with that. And then once everyone's kind of done with once the girls in the water specifically are kind of done with it, they kind of split up. So Kyle, Dorit, Garcelle, and Sutton, they all proceed to get ready, and they go shopping. They go into town, go hit some different shops. They go to this one place that's, it's a bar/boutique, which is so cool. It's like, ooh, that's so fun. It's like, I was gonna go to, like, high-class places. They'll have, like, champagne for you, shit like that. But it's like, no, it's a little bar. So you can have whatever you want. You have a shot, like a mixed drink. It's so, like, chill. Like, I really like that idea. Garcelle proceeds casually into her beach home. Everyone congratulates her, showers her with, like, love, and it's a really cute scene. I feel like this episode is really kind of cute in certain parts of it. Kyle, she says she's getting everyone a gift, which was what Marlo should have done for Sheree in the last episode. But she's getting everyone a present, and of course, Sutton wants the most expensive thing in the fucking store. And meanwhile, Rinna, Erika, Crystal, and Diana, the girls we don't like, generally, they have a little powwow on the beach. And both parties, the people on the beach and the people at the shops, they proceeded to talk about the situation the last night between Sutton and Crystal. Honing in first on the girls shopping, Sutton says that they're on ground zero and that Crystal twists her words. But Sutton's kind of optimistic about their relationship, and Kyle and Garcelle believe that it's more than just twisting words, that Crystal has a little bit of a manipulative side to her, essentially, is what Kyle and Garcelle are thinking. And people on Twitter, they're all saying, like, is Kyle and Garcelle the dream team that we needed? You know, like, so we're really vibing them that they're on good terms now and doing all that stuff. Checking in with the other girls, the undesirables. Crystal says that she doesn't want conflict. And Erika, she repeatedly kind of drills into Crystal that, oh, she called you a liar. Sutton, she called you a liar, baby. And it's like, she just keeps, like, honing in on that. She encourages Crystal to have to stand up and fight for herself. And then Crystal starts crying and shit. And it's like, it's, like, so much. Like, Crystal's crying, like, literally, like, the entire rest of the time she's on the fucking beach. She's basically... But it's weird, because Crystal had it together. Because remember, earlier in the episode, Crystal and Sutton were chill. They were chilling on good terms. But now, Crystal's in an environment where she's chill at first, and then all these other girls like, no, you have to stand up for yourself. You can do this. Fight it. And then Crystal's just like, yes, I could be the victim right now again. And it's just, like, so much. It's like, Crystal, you brought the situation up. It backfired. And now you're getting hyped up and crying. I don't know. I'm just not with it at this point. It's like, Crystal, get it together, girl. Erika, Rinna, and Diana continue to rally around her. And they encourage her to speak up for herself and all that shit. And so that's what they're on. Going back to the group of shoppers, Kyle and Garcelle, they both kind of share that they believe that Sutton is trying to brush everything under the rug with Crystal and just kind of make up with her because she's nervous and she's kind of scared of Crystal a little bit. And Sutton proceeds to say, like, oh, I'm not scared of anyone. I'm not scared of Erika or Crystal. And then Kyle, now it's basically Kyle talking, and Erika is really, Kyle's talking, Garcelle is really co-signing and helping out, is that, like, Erika's reactive. Erika will, like, bite your head off after you say something to her. But with Crystal, she's kind of more, like, sly with how she does it. And Kyle says, I believe Kyle calls her manipulative, and she says that Crystal could be more dangerous because she attacks quietly, almost. Erika attacks boldly and proudly, but Crystal attacks silently. And you know what I mean? So that's kind of what they're on. And Kyle also clocks Crystal by saying, Crystal wants to look good by making you look bad, Sutton. And at this point, Kyle also co-signs the rumor that Sutton brought up about Crystal the night before, about how Crystal has a reputation for basically aligning herself, basically being a mean girl, like TM, like lying on other people, like stabbing other friends in the back in order to make herself look good in the eyes of, like, more powerful, more people with more clout, basically. Basically, she's like a social climber, and in order to do that, she'll stab friends in the back. And Kyle, so at this point, 3 women on the cast have heard this rumor. Sutton, Lisa Rinna, and Kyle. And so it's like, ooh, Crystal. And we also learn a bit more from Rinna, who, going back to the beach girls, Rinna says that she heard that Crystal had a falling out with, like, 14 friends.
Crystal has told me that she had a falling out with, like, 14 of her friends. 'Cause she knows I know these girls. I don't know all of them. I mean, it's a lot to be dropped by 14 friends. I don't even have 14 friends.
And I'm kind of like, well, what's it like? How are we defining, like, falling out? Because, you know, sometimes you just kind of drift apart from people. Sometimes you may fall out with, like, one person and, like, another person may, like, fall out with you out of in-suit, but, like, you know what I mean? They'll be like, oh, you don't talk to her anymore? I don't talk to her either. But, like, it had nothing to do with the other person. So I'm like, did she, like, actively fall out with, like, 14 different people? Or did she just, like, fall out with, like, one or two and then get cut off? You know what I mean? I guess it's, like, the same shit either way. But I feel like there's a difference. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe there's not. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. But yeah, that's what Rinna says. And Erika, she's just comforting Crystal the whole time. Mainly because she dislikes Sutton. Erika's like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, basically. And so Erika's just comforting Crystal, who keeps on fucking crying. And she says she feels like an easy target. And it's like, girl, like, Sutton's the easy target. Like, Crystal's saying she feels like an easy target when she's the one who stirred up this shit and it backfired on her. And it's like, Crystal, shut the I cannot stand Crystal in this episode. It's just, like, so fucking, ugh. Oh, before I move on, let me touch on this. So Dorit brought up a really good point about Crystal. So she says that it seems as though Crystal is throwing Sutton under the bus in order to win Garcelle's approval, which is really true because the whole thing came up in La Quinta after Garcelle basically clocked Crystal for relentlessly gunning for Sutton last season. And in turn, Crystal threw Sutton under the bus in order to kind of appeal to make herself look better in Garcelle's eyes. But it totally backfired. And we also saw this again last night when Crystal was like, oh, Garcelle, did you think what Sutton said was problematic? And Garcelle was like, no, I think what you did was problematic. And it's really like Crystal wanted to be the dynamic people of color duo with Garcelle on Beverly Hills. And it's like, no, Garcelle and Sutton have a natural friendship that isn't forced. You are aligning yourself. Crystal's weird. Crystal's being really fucking weird. And I love that Dorit brought that point up. Good job, Dorito. Let me fast forward to later on that evening. All the girls are just getting ready for dinner. It's a kind of a little quick scene, but some major points are Rinna acknowledges that the whole trip is a really nice distraction from everything because her mom, like, just died, like, right before the trip. She was just in Oregon for, like, a week with her in her last days. So she's feeling that, and she's hanging out with Erika, just chilling in the room. And then Kyle FaceTimes them, and she kind of asks, like, oh, how's everything on the beach? How's Crystal doing? And the girl's like, oh, she cried the entire time. She was crying. And then Kyle's like, well, like, what was she saying? Like, what was the worst part? Like, what was wrong? And fucking Rinna and Erika are just like, I don't know. But she was so emotional. And it's like, because it's all fake. It's all just you don't know because she's crying for no fucking reason. You know, it was so eerie. It's like, yeah, bitch, you guys, oh my God. But yeah, that's what happens there. And then all the ladies get to the dinner table. Crystal and Diana are both wearing bird earrings in Lois's honor. They're both kissing Rinna's ass a little bit. I'm kidding. But they're doing that. It's kind of cute. And then Lisa Rinna proceeds to bring up Diana's Room 23 book again. And this book was really controversial because it's a sexy photography book, but essentially word on the street is, or the allegation is, that Diana used the book as like a call book almost, as like a catalog of women for like high profile men, like something yucky like that. That was the rumor, and it's brought up all kinds of allegations. And this is also the reason why Diana does not want to talk about the book. She's like, I already talked about the book, because apparently Diana talked about the book at, God, what was it? I think it was at Harry's birthday party, Harry Hamlin's birthday party. Lisa Rinna brought up the book there, and Diana touched on it a little bit, and now Rinna's bringing it up again, and Diana's like, I don't want to talk about it, and the girl's kind of like, ooh, okay. And in the confessional, she kind of discusses the controversy a bit more, and it's kind of funny.
Not like an international sex trafficker and madam of high-class prostitutes. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
It's honestly so ridiculous that I can't even believe that actually it could have caught on. It's very, very dangerous. All you need to do is leak a bunch of fake rumors and you can actually destroy somebody's life. It was just a very painful time, but truth prevailed. Everybody knows now.
So yeah, that whole stuff in the scandal in conjunction with her black content creator comment, Diana had a rough Wednesday night to put it bluntly. And then while they're all at dinner, the conversation that Crystal, Rinna, Erika, and Diana all had comes up. Erika says that she didn't like what Sutton did the night before about bringing up the rumor about how Crystal's basically a backstabbing bitch, essentially. About how Crystal will lie about people in order to make herself look better. And basically just being a liar. And Erika's talking about how Erika did not like that. And it's like, okay, whatever. And Erika asks, well, how does that fit into the situation between you guys? Like, why bring this rumor up? And Sutton explains that it speaks to her reputation and it shows that she has a pattern of behavior of doing that with other people. And she also acknowledges that others at the table have heard it as well. So Sutton's really making points at this point. Like, she's like, and eventually Kyle also not now, but it comes to the play. Kyle brings up how she initially, while she heard the rumors, she let come in one ear and out the other, just because it's like, we all hear shit about each other. It's a small town, blah, 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 whatever. But now Kyle's saying, well, now I'm kind of looking at these rumors and thinking there could be some validity to them. I didn't think so before, but now with her behavior towards Sutton, I'm thinking that. So this shit really backfired against Crystal, because, again, Kyle and Garcelle, and Sutton for that matter, but specifically Kyle and Garcelle, they have no really good season. They're fan favorites. They're in the drama just enough at this point. I feel like they get more into it later, but it's just enough right now to keep it good. And then we have Sutton, who's, again, an instant, really quickly rising to fan favorite status. So, yeah, it's not looking good for Crystal. Then regarding the rumor, Sutton says she won't name names. She won't say where she heard it from. And Erika and Rinna basically jumps down her throat. Basically like, well, you shouldn't have brought it up then. And those two, Lisa Rinna and Erika Girardi, they are babying Crystal like fucking crazy. And it's like, what the fuck?
Crystal was very upset today.
Crystal was.
For a very long time.
For a very long time.
Very long time.
She said to me that she feels like an easy target.
That's what we were saying today.
Yeah. Oh, you were?
Yes, we were saying.
And she also feels like anything she says is never going to be good enough.
Erika just keeps going. She just keeps on going after Sutton, basically. And Carol really clocks her in the confessional. She says, okay, come on. We all know that Erika's just doing this because she doesn't like Sutton. It's not because Erika gives a flying fuck about Crystal. It's because Erika has a beef against Sutton. Erika will never admit that, but that's really what it is. And then Garcelle chimes in. She tells Crystal to speak up for herself. And Crystal, I know sometimes the words that I use may be kind of confusing. I'm sorry, but I'm trying. And it's like, Crystal, this has nothing to do with your fucking words. It has to do with your character. It has to do with how you're moving. It has nothing to do with your words. If you call something dark or not, it's like, who gives a fuck? But it's the fact that you're not backing that shit up. It's the fact that you're not owning your shit. You're moving weird. But Crystal's playing the victim. She's focusing on, oh, it's what I say. It's the words that I use. It's because I'm so woke. It's because I'm a young millennial. And it's like, bitch, shut up. It's how you're moving. Crystal's on my nerves. I swear to God. But then anyway, Sutton plays nice and she apologizes for bringing up the rumor. But she says she will not apologize and she won't take back the fact that Crystal has been doing this repeatedly to Sutton. This whole trying to make Sutton look bad, throw her under the bus. Crystal proceeds to kind of do a bullshit apology. She says, oh, I understand how you feel. But Sutton's like, no. I need you to say that you are not going to do this again. And Erika keeps trying to defend Crystal. She's like, oh, I think she's trying to do that, but you won't let her. And Garcelle says what's on everyone's mind. And she says, Erika, you are bugging the shit out of me. Like, let them work it out. Why do you keep chirping and let them work it out? Like big girls, So good on Garcelle. We know that later on she and Erika get into it a little bit more, but so we see that starting up now. And again, Sutton, she's really holding Crystal's feet to the fire, and she basically says, I need you to say that you will not do it, and I need you to say it in front of everyone so we all hear it. Like, she's really, like, lecturing her at this, basically. But Crystal's like, oh, like, I'm sorry, and it won't happen again, and I mean that. And she says it's genuine. I don't buy it. I do not buy it for one fucking millisecond. I really do not, to be quite honest with you. And then shortly thereafter, Sutton says how she likes Crystal. She really likes Crystal and wants to work it out with her. And then Crystal, as like a last ditch little dagger, she brings up, last night you said that you hated me, but you like me. And so Sutton did say that. It's for the record. Sutton did say, oh, you know, I like Crystal. As much as I hate her, I like her. That's exactly what Sutton said. I really do believe that's what she meant is I like Crystal. As much as I hate what she does, I like her. Basically, she said her instead of what she does. That's what happened. Sutton, she denies saying that. She says, excuse me, I did not say that. And then Diana jumps in and she's like, no, that's what you said. Like, I heard it. I heard it with my own ears. I heard you. And then she's like, oh, this is another example of you being clumsy with your words and contradicting yourself. And she brings up the bacon-eating vegetarian thing. It's like, Diana, you are trying so hard. Girl, get the fuck off this show and go deal with these. Like, oh my God. She's trying so hard against Sutton. And then Sutton tries defending herself. And it won't... So Sutton begins defending herself by saying, I am a good person. And it's like, that's girl, stop. So I will acknowledge that. But Diana keeps interrupting her. She won't let Sutton speak. She basically like, I know you're a good person. You keep saying you're a good person. And then Sutton really gets on her. She's like,
you need to let me finish my sentence, please. It's going to be. I'm going to finish what I'm saying. I'm a very good person.
You told us that already, and we know
I'm going to
that.
say it again.
How's that
I'm
happening?
going to say it again until you can hear me.
Sutton, wait. Hold on.
No.
You're putting your finger in her face.
Sutton shouldn't have to say she's a good person, first and foremost. But Diana has to, let's chill the fuck out. Diana and Erika just can't let Sutton breathe. Sutton can't breathe without Diana or Erika jumping in and just starting shit. But yeah, so Sutton screams at Diana. Everyone at the table is like, oh my goodness, you screamed at her. Sutton is just like, oh my gosh, I need a break. I need a moment. And so she and Kyle get up and go out to the bathroom just to basically regain her composure. And sadly, Sutton knows, she's like, I just don't want to look crazy. And so I'm trying to... And I thought it was really sad because last season, a lot of people were making fun of Sutton because when she was talking to Crystal during this really stressful conversation, she was using her face roller, all this quirky shit. And so I think Sutton's really conscious of her neurosis, like basically looking weird, looking crazy on camera. And it's like, that shouldn't be, she shouldn't have to worry about that. But Sutton went to the bathroom for a second, regained her composure real quickly, and she came out cool as a cucumber. Like, Sutton's really serving. And I feel really worried, though, because I feel like she's maybe putting on this tough veneer, or not tough, but she's wearing this mask for the cameras. But I'm like, when she goes home, is she like, I just really hope that it's like a genuine change in her character and it's not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. I mean, did it make sense? I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, and while they're in the bathroom, Diana's at the table. She herself is fucking crying, and it's like, oh my God. And then Garcelle, everyone's comforting Diana, and Garcelle's like, oh Lord, this is too much. I'm just sitting here eating my artichoke. It's like, yes, bitch. Like, that is what everyone is just thinking in their head. They're just like, oh my God.
You did nothing wrong, Diana. I love you.
Oh, good Lord. I can't. I just can't. Everybody's just way too much. I cannot. I'm eating my artichoke.
Shoot.
Once Sutton gets back to the table, Erika, and she apologizes to Diana, and Erika's like, she started crying. Yeah, she started crying, you know. It's like, Erika, shut up. Like, oh my God, I just can't with them. And then Crystal, Dorit, and Diana, they get up from the table to go to the bathroom now. Now it's Diana's turn to regain her composure in the bathroom. I believe she's going to redo her makeup. And then Kyle and Garcelle, they both clock Crystal, obviously playing the victim card, and that they just clock her essentially in front of everyone else at the table.
You guys, I know you had a moment with Crystal today and she was crying.
She was.
But you have to understand that she put herself in that position.
What I don't like is I feel like Crystal just takes it and she sort of caves in, her body language, the whole thing, and it makes it feel like we're coming for her as opposed to her standing up for herself.
That's a victim card, I'm sorry. She wants it to feel like that.
Well, that's exactly what I feel.
Erika defends Crystal, but Kyle really doubles down on side-eyeing her with Garcelle's support. So Garcelle and Crystal, Garcelle and Kyle, they're really spearheading the whole, like, Crystal's sus, Crystal's moving weird campaign, because Sutton, she's not really willing to spearhead that. She's kind of like, let's make up, let's be friends, let's be friendly, but Kyle and Garcelle are like, girl, no, she's a weirdo. So Kyle and Garcelle are putting in the work, so good for them. And they're like the dream team, honestly. Like, I'm gonna probably have Diana be like, every episode has a little focus, like in the title and in the thumbnail. If I weren't making it about Diana Jenkins, I would definitely make it about Kyle and Garcelle being the dream team, because that's really what stands out. But Diana, I'm on your ass in this episode. That's how it's staying. And now everyone's back at the table, everyone's back in the bathroom and stuff. Sutton says she's willing to start over with Crystal and make good and just move forward with their friendship. But Kyle and Garcelle, the dream team, are very skeptical about this. And that's what it is. So it's a pretty good episode, and I feel like we have a really dynamic rest of the season to come. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.